Hello everyone, and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Chronicle, Cradle of Liberty. This is episode 2, Standing Amidst Corruption. I almost said chaos. Let's meet our still standing vampires, starting with Avery.
Hey, hello everyone. It's me, Avery, at Avery DuBois on all the social media platforms. I style myself as something of an internet personality, and today I will be playing the caitiff, wink wink, Vern Rasmussen, and I'm still standing.
Very good, Avery. Thank you very much. Laura?
Hi, hello, good evening, folks. You can call me Laura or Tutu or Laura Tutu. I'm usually all over the internet as _ Laura Tutu, and tonight I will be playing Bryony Perkins, the Ventru neonate.
Luna?
Hello, hi, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on all the social medias, including on Twitch where I stream. But this time zone, I will be playing one Celeste Ortega of Clan La Sombra.
And last but not least, Vin.
Oh my gosh, hi, I'm Vin at VinVoxVA on socials. It's at Blue Sky, that is VinVox.com. I'm a voice actor and tabletop performer, and tonight I will be... Who will I be? I almost
Marius.
said Weiss Marius. I don't know why that would have been weird. Anyway, Marius Weiss.
As always, this is a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition actual play. We've gone over our safety and consent, but please check in with yourselves, as your well-being is important to all of us who are playing. All right, so if everyone is ready, let's go back to Boston. Tonight, so this is the same night, so all of your hunger and all of your willpower will remain exactly the same, except for Laura's, where you'll be at 1 hunger and your full willpower. So tonight, the coterie set out to track down the missing torpid body of the Malkavian primogen Richard Dunham. Marius' sire, Dejan, in exchange for bringing their coterie to the upcoming 3 Chantries negotiations, taught them a ritual to see into the past, to learn who had taken Richard's body from the scene at the Red Salon when Vern was arrested and Bryony was brought to the morgue. And Marius did indeed see who had absconded with Richard's body, a woman that they had met a few weeks earlier at the Park Street station, when the Sabbat left their gruesome little scene, Detective Sarah Milton. But that's not all Marius saw. Expending more of their blood into the decimated grounds of the Red Salon, Marius turned back the clock 5 years, and saw a gathering of kindred. The Nosferatu primogen at the time, Jara Drory, the Toreador primogen, Hilda McAndrews, their own sire, Dejan Siaka, the Ventru primogen of the time, Beryl Underwood, and their coterie mate, Vern Rasmussen, carrying what looked like a staked and torpid body on his shoulders. Blood tears streaming down his face, apologizing to the paralyzed kindred he laid at the feet of the primogen, declaring he had betrayed his king. The Nosferatu primogen Jara promised she would take these memories away from him, calling him a very good boy. These memories, however, Marius kept to themselves, instead preferring to focus on the task at hand, retrieving Richard. The coterie tracked down Detective Milton's apartment, and although she wasn't inside, they discovered her obsession with the supernatural. Blood sigils, holy water, wolfsbane, even fairy dust was scattered around her home. But most importantly, the coterie discovered a whiteboard detailing out names and locations which both Arthur and Vern recognized as the names of Quentin King's Childer, his Knights of the Round Table. With Vern discovering that she went to Howe's Neck tonight, perhaps even with Richard's body in tow, the coterie decided to follow her trail, but not before Arthur absconded to deal with a personal issue and Marius setting fire to the apartment before fleeing. Of course, they need to inform Bryony of all of this information, who is at the moment oblivious to the activities of her coterie. Unfortunately, she has been appealing to Prince Iverson's good graces for missing her Elysium event a few nights ago and has been forced to spend time at her rival Shufeng's club, the Queen's Envy, who has graciously handed it over to Iverson and the court. Bryony, this has been a test of even your repose and grace, remaining ever acquiescent to your prince and fellow clanmate. But finally, this ordeal is coming to an end, as the prince claims she has a meeting with the Toreador primogen back at 200 Clarendon. And as she rises, her tight red dress a dead giveaway that she does not breathe, she says, "You are, of course, forgiven of all previous transgressions, Miss Perkins, but let's not try and make it a habit moving forward."
I wouldn't dream of it, my prince.
And of course, I do hope you're not too disappointed that I awarded Shufeng the honor of the Ventru primogen seat. I mean, after all, she did not lose a valuable asset when they are needed most.
I understand, and I imagine her age will do her well in such a position.
But of course, there is one position I could offer you, if you indeed show me that putting my trust in you a second time is not a complete disaster.
And what would that be, my prince?
M.M. Lewis, Hilda's child, once held the position of emissary to the Anarchs, a position she no longer holds, as well the strategy of combating the Second Inquisition left the Anarchs, holding the bag, as it were. And although they were an extremely useful distraction, so Galeb and MM and Laisha could destroy the black site on Long Island, they were perhaps purposefully misled into believing we would stand and fight with them, rather than understanding their role as the front line. Delson believes this has caused a rather raucous uproar from the survivors, especially with their Baron Randall Thane, who didn't even show up to the black site, I might note. There's whispers of war, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you, we are in no position at the moment to fight another battle.
So, we need to be able to smooth things over, is what I'm hearing.
So, in the coming nights, I will be sending you as emissary to speak with Baron Thane and his lackeys. How does that please you, Miss Perkins?
I will give it my utmost, my prince. After all, a united front is likely what we need in these trying nights.
As I said, I certainly hope you won't be disappointing me, as you had with the last task I gave you, which I know you have to get back to resolving. When you do go see the Anarchs, when I do send you there, take Arthur with you, take the dog too, in case things get out of hand. There's a La Sombra neonate that seemed quite taken with Marius, and last I saw her, I'm sure a shadow dancer would scare the Anarchs enough at least to listen to you. Convince them that what was done for the survival of us all, and if they want a war, it will mean the end of all Anarchs in the city of Boston. Is that clear?
It is.
Wonderful. I do hope you have a successful night, Miss Perkins.
Thank you, my prince. I'll get to it.
Will you make me your nightly rouse check, Miss Perkins?
That is a rousing success.
Perfect. So I don't need to ask if you're going to hop over to where you might possibly run into Shu Feng and get a drink. Instead, you are free to step out of the Queen's Envy. You send off a text to your coterie to meet you at your club, the Queen's Cellar. And you tap on your phone. You're about to call Brock, your manager, to come pick you up. But before you can call, you hear a voice behind you. And it says, "Hey, baby, can I get your number?"
I just stop and slowly look, because how fucking dare you?
As you slowly turn and look, you see that it is Ceres standing there with a big smile on her face.
You again.
Me again. Don't mean to interrupt your important business, Princess. I had some business in the area, and I also need to give you something.
And what would that be, dear?
She hands you a very, very fancy envelope. It's gilded with gold, and it looks to be handwritten.
Oh, well. Am I going to a ball?
I wouldn't call it that.
I'm assuming there's a wax seal on the back.
There is.
One of those.
And if you would roll me wits and politics, I'll tell you if you recognize the symbol. I don't need much.
3 successes?
3 successes. Yeah, that's more than enough. You turn the envelope over, and the wax seal is, you would recognize it as a symbol of the Roman god Janus. It's a 3 heads. One facing left, one facing right, and one facing center forward. That is the symbol of Clan Hecata.
I'll crack the seal open.
Crack the seal open. Again, the paper shimmers. It's like gold. It's bizarre, whatever this paper is made out of. And you read it, and it is a very formal invitation inviting you to meet with the head of the Hecata here in Boston, except it's not the address that it tells you to meet at is not in Boston. It's outside of Boston. It's one of the suburbs, Woburn. It's just literally a city right outside. and it is signed by Andreas Giovanni, head of Clan Hikata.
And why me?
I mean, I really should let Andreas tell you, but this is sort of a personal favor I'm doing to Mark. His family thinks that maybe there might be some winds shifting in the Camarilla, and maybe you might be a good person to have to help them get back in good graces with the Ivory Tower.
Oh, dear. There have been some snags in recent activity. Well, as you are more than aware, considering you pulled me out of the morgue, I'm not sure what kind of standing you think I have, dear.
I really shouldn't be saying this, but I think they like that you don't have any standing.
Great. That's great. That's wonderful.
Let's just say they're not presidents of Iverson's fan club.
Is there a date and time on the invitation, storyteller?
Yes, it seems to be dated for a week from now. Sunday night. And Sarah sort of leans over and taps on it. Family dinner. It's kind of their thing.
Is there anything about a +1, anything of that note?
It does say that it's inviting you and anyone you choose to bring with you. You're not squeamish, right? You know, you saw what Mark was eating in the morgue. There's going to be a lot of that there.
It's not my style, but I'm not one to, how do you put it? Yuck anyone's yum.
Well, any dietary restrictions, you just pass it on to me and I'll pass it on to them, and I'm sure they'll make accommodations for you.
Yes. There's a fair amount that I need to get done between then and now, but let's see what happens, shall we?
And it's at that moment that you receive a phone call. Vern, you, Celeste, and Marius are fleeing from a fire at the moment out of a building. You're running down State Street. Brittany, as you pick up, you see Vern is calling you. The first thing you hear is the sound of emergency vehicles. It's almost deafening. And Vern, what would you like to say to Brittany as you don't have a vehicle with you? You all walked here, so you're just trying to get out of Dodge at the moment.
Hey, princess. Where can I meet you? Where can we talk?
Really? For cops? Again?
I didn't do it. I didn't do it this time.
Yeah, sure you didn't. Who are you with?
Well, Arthur just left with Marius and Celeste.
All right. I'm about to get picked up from Queen's Envy. Is there some place that you can lay low so I can come get you?
We can meet you there.
Excuse me. Saris leans down into the phone and she says, I'll give her a ride. Where are you at?
We'll meet you, both of you, at the bar, if that's okay.
The bar?
All right. Meet at the cellar then.
Your bar?
Yeah, yes, my bar.
Diana, stop. Fuck, Saris. Sorry.
And she'll just hit the end on your phone.
You are very grabby.
Yeah. Kind of have to be when you don't have a clan to fall back on.
Come on, let's go.
And you hear she walks around the back of the Queen's Envy, and you hear the sound of a fob, and she's driving a 2025 Ford Maverick pickup. It's a very nice four-door.
I think in this moment, with everything that's happened, I think Brittany just kind of stares at this car, stares at Saris, kind of looks up into the sky in a why God, why me kind of notion before she walks forward and gets in. Just, why not?
Saris will clock that notion and she'll say, don't worry, princess. I got heated seats. I paid extra for that.
How lovely for you.
I'm just joking. I didn't pay for this car at all.
You know what? That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
She turns it over. First thing that comes blaring on is music that you don't recognize. You would call it, I suppose, world music. It's in a language that you don't know, don't speak, but she seems to know it, and she starts singing along. Is there anything that you would like to say, or would you just listen to the radio as she drives? It is not far, but it is not a close distance either.
No, just listen to the radio, try to find some semblance of, I don't know, calm, centeredness.
Saris seems not at all perturbed or worried about the future of Boston. And as you drive, say that the other three would get to the Queen's Cellar faster from Seaport. Excuse me, from the Back Bay than from Seaport. So as the three of you gather before Brienne arrives, is there anything you'd like to say to each other? Like to look at any of the items that you have? Or anything of note, now is the time to do it. Before you meet with your missing coterie member.
Oh, what did we take? I don't think Marius took anything in particular.
Vern took a day planner from this woman, from the detective, and he also has photographs that he hasn't told you anything about as well. He took photographs from her apartment as well, but he also has photographs that he stole from the sheriff.
Yeah. I think once we're far enough away, I think in a rare turn of events, Vern will turn around and kind of look at Marius. Was that necessary?
Maybe I panicked a bit.
I told you Delson would handle it.
Look, time between him arriving and us leaving, I just didn't want to leave anything to chance.
She was on her way to Hound's Neck. There was nothing to leave to chance, Marius.
Well, if anything, to send a message then. Why are you questioning me?
Because I want you to live as long as I have. And shit like this is not how you get there.
I'm sorry for making a mistake.
It's not about making a mistake, Marius. And you know that. But that's neither here nor there. We don't need to fucking worry about that now. It's fucking done. It's fucking over. What happens when things happen, we fucking deal with it. So. And he'll pull the day planner out. I at least managed to get this out so we can keep tracking leads this way. And he'll hand it over to Marius. Is there anything you can do with this?
Do you have Scour secrets?
I do.
Yeah, so make me a rouse check. And make me an intelligence, and I believe that's blood sorcerer roll. Or is that's a blood sorcerer roll, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
I gotta check my hungies. Okay.
Let me check my hungies real quick.
Let me check my hungies. That was 2 successes.
2 successes, you discover that this day planner is fairly new, and she hasn't written much in it. She's written mostly just plans for times when she needs to be at work. You see, she's limited the amount of time that she's actually spending at work, and she's putting her total focus on this thing that she keeps calling it something. She's calling it a reckoning. There is a reckoning coming. And she keeps moving dates and times. She's figuring out how much PTO time she can take. But really the only location that she has written in this day planner of a place she's actually going outside of the city limits is Hound's Neck.
And just bored and all balls to kind of like recollect that a little bit. Reckoning part-time would be very illustrious life we're dealing with.
She at least knows enough that she got Richard.
That is true.
Which makes her a problem.
I will give you one last thing that you could do. You don't think you'd recognize them, Vern, but you may hand the photos you took from her apartment and from the sheriff over to Marius. You can try to scour secrets one more time. Because there is someone in those photos, possibly, that Marius might know.
Vern will produce a manila envelope from the other inside pocket of his jacket.
Just peel those with 2 fingers.
When you're done with those, you give those back to me.
Stop talking to me like that.
Okay.
Now, these photos, Marius, I should say, some of them are framed because he took them right from her bedroom. Whereas the other ones in the manila folder are, they look like they've had thumbtacks in them. They look like they are Polaroids. They're from someone who might not know or use digital cameras.
Let's see. That is, I am going to, well, I guess not. That's, well, I guess I'll crit fish.
I'm gonna crit.
I didn't, but it is an additional success. I hate that. 4 successes.
I know. I noticed you hated it when I was editing the other episode. 4 successes. Yes. You look through the frame photos, and you see one that looks like Detective Milton when she was much, much younger. And all of these are family photos. There's no photos like a wedding photo or like she was married or anything like that. One of them's a family photo and looks like she's much young, maybe a young teenager. And there's a little boy next to her with brown hair. Hey, something looks, that face looks familiar, but this is a little boy. You don't know any little boys. All right, so you move on to the other pictures, and you're searching through them. And one of the pictures is a picture of, it looks like someone who had taken it from up a building, someone taken it in secret so that they didn't know. It's a picture of Baron Randall Thane. And you notice this is exactly what that little boy would look like all grown up. That's why you recognize the face. You know Baron Randall Thane.
Well, look at where your theft got us. And just puts those 2 pictures forward.
What am I supposed to see?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you wouldn't know what a family looks like.
That's not true. I have a son.
I'm sorry. Congratulations. Anyway, clearly there's a relationship here. Is that enough information? A reason to be as violent as they are?
We took those from Delson's office. I took those from Delson's office, which is why you should give them back. I don't want Delson thinking you did it.
No, please. Return them.
No, I'll make him come knock on my door for him.
I hate to be the ignorant one here. Who's that? And I'll point to the picture of Randall.
Anarch Baron.
I see.
He's a piece of shit.
Unsurprising.
Now, Marius, you have heard from Ceres that Baron Thane has been erratic as of the last few weeks. So much so that she brought one of his recruits. Now, Ceres didn't go into detail of what these recruits were, who was beaten so severely that Ceres was afraid she was going to die and brought her to Junebug for healing.
Do you want to grab her and use her as leverage?
Well, that keeps her from being flayed alive, I guess.
I don't want to kill her.
I did.
Why not?
She's got the instinct, I guess. She knows when she's confronted with something unhuman that she has to fight or die. I like that.
Well, child bait aside, let's gather the princess.
Gather the princess you do as you're having this discussion just outside of Brianne's establishment. You see a very nice, brand new, shiny silver Ford truck pull up. Vern's very nice. You definitely like to have it. And you're surprised to see Brienne in the passenger seat and your child, Saris, in the driver's seat.
For the record, Brienne doesn't look particularly thrilled about it. Not like upset, not in any sort of like in danger, just baseline annoyed.
Just reach into his jacket, pull out a pack of parliaments, and tuck one in his mouth and light a cigarette.
Saris is very chivalrous, jumps out of the driver's seat and runs around to the passenger seat and opens the door for you.
At least she knows how to treat a princess. I will offer my hand and gingerly step. How tall is this fuck? Is it one of those big god-awful monstrosities?
Yes.
Of course it is.
But Saris,
So
Saris is quite tall herself. Saris is very thin, very lean, very tall.
So it's that very ginger, like, hand out, step down. It's real hard to get out of those trucks in heels. I'm just putting it out there.
And she holds onto your hand as she walks you around to the back of the truck and sort of presents you in front of your coterie. And she says, see?
Making this face.
Got you here safe and sound, and in a timely fashion, I might add.
Thank you.
Hi, Marius.
Hi.
If you were wondering, Connie's all taken care of. I brought her to mutual friends. And she looks at Brienne. New mutual friends. And she holds her hands out to you. I already know who you are, but I don't think we've met. My name is Saris.
Me? Yeah. Celeste.
I know. I work for your dad.
Oh. Got it.
But don't worry. I won't go tattling on or anything. He doesn't pay me to do that.
Saris, you got a minute?
If it's a really, really fast minute.
It would mean a lot to me.
It's not a persuasion. Like, whatever.
Just come upstairs and we'll head towards the apartment.
All right. If we're gonna talk, we can do it right here. Your coterie can go and hang out inside and have wine or whatever it is that you do in there.
I need to go up and get something either way.
Then it'll have to be another time.
Saris.
She takes the keys. She throws them at you. She says, enjoy the new car, Dadushka. No, we make me an... Yeah.
I just want to insight this relationship.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll me a wits and insight. She called you Dadushka.
Can I help?
Yeah, everyone may roll me wits and insight. I mean, it's totally fine. I'm down for it. Dadushka, intelligence and awareness. Avery. Unless Avery knows what that word means IRL.
I do, but I'll roll into it.
She could be being facetious. She could not.
1 success for Vern.
Nope.
2. My dice are ass tonight.
3. I will give it to Celeste. What are you trying to insight specifically?
Why? What's the animosity? What's the tea here?
Could you be a little bit more specific?
Why is I just want to know, like, why is Saris uncomfortable? Is she angry? Is she uncomfortable? Is she, like, hateful?
No, she's not angry or hateful. Uncomfortable, maybe. She seems... I can't think of appropriate word for it, but if you had to guess, her feeling about Vern is that she feels like there's no use in having a conversation.
Okay.
Why she feels that way? Well, you'd have to ask her.
Gotcha. So let's just watching this interaction.
Or he'll catch the keys and he'll just look up at her. I kept your point shoes. Do you want them back?
I'm not going upstairs. You can drop them off at the secret garden.
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah, no, you won't be. That's not a post office. Or
Well,
a
it's
UPS.
also where my coterie hangs out, so.
points. Wagging finger.
Your name's not on the building, Marius. Not yet, anyway. You should ask Lasher where he got the lease for that place, by the way.
Okay, I don't like where that's baiting me, but
Okay. All right. Are we done? Taking pot shots, please, because we have work to do. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you guys get to your
lovely.
work.
No. Thanks. Bye.
Marius, I told you if you need anything from me, you know how to get in touch with me. With your fancy new cell phone.
I do. Always on me.
Okay.
And she walks, and Celeste, you watch her walk into the corner of the building, and she envelops herself in shadow.
Noted.
Wonder where she could have learned that trick. So the four of you have gathered together. Brienne, you enter into your club. It's nice to be home again after so long with the prince. And now your coterie, and of course your coterie have a member with them who you don't know. And now it's time for you to inform Brienne of every naughty little thing that y'all did.
First and foremost, Brienne will turn. Did we pick up Astray?
She belongs to Ezra Contreras.
Of course she does.
She's also right here. Hi, I'm Celeste.
What's Celeste? It's lovely to meet you. I'm Bryony. This is my
pleasure.
club. Welcome. Can we let's go to my office, shall we?
Also
Please.
with a crow on her shoulder, just, you know.
You know what? That's not even the strangest thing I've seen in the past couple of nights. So we're just gonna skate right by that.
Right. Perfect.
As you all head to Bryony's office, is anyone hungry? Because there is blood here. Brock always knows what Bryony wants.
Vern's at 2.
I'm at 3.
Mm-hmm. Celeste?
Actually, yeah, no.
That one.
Brienne, you're at more than
Does
one?
any? No, I'm at 1.
Yeah.
Does anyone need anything?
I would like a drink, please.
Of course, dear. And I will make sure that we have the appropriate refreshments for our friends.
Yep. As soon as you walk in, Brock comes right up to you, takes your coat, takes your bag, takes, very used to doing this, takes your order if there is one. And he looks over at you, Marius. A particular flavor. You want something
No, I just
something
need-
spicy, something mellow. You know what I mean?
Just twice the normal amount.
Okay. And hey, Vern, want a drink?
No. Thanks, though.
Yeah. I mean, we do this every night. I say, "Do you want a drink?" and you say no. So business as usual.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the bottled stuff. Thanks, though.
Sure. And anything for you, miss? Sorry, I don't believe I've seen you here before.
Ortega.
I was talking to the lady, but thank you, Vern.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll give Vern a look. Celeste Ortega. And no, I'm okay. Thank you, though.
You have a bird on your shoulder.
Is that a problem?
Nope.
Nope. Just thought I'd point it out since no one else has yet. All right, I will be back with your drinks. Thank you.
Thank you, Brock.
And Marius, you may remove 2 hunger.
All right. So, who wants to tell me why I heard sirens in the background when Vern called?
I overreacted. We found a lot of evidence. Breach-worthy, I imagined, so I may have set fire to the apartment.
Brienne, if you take a look past your office, you see that the televisions here, although this is a Prohibition style, you do have televisions here in case people want to come in and watch the game or whatever. You see that there is a flashing bulletin for the local news of a fire that broke out in the Back Bay in a very, very ritzy-ditzy, expensive apartment.
She was living well beyond her means.
Sure. Great. Who?
I told you about the cop that Marius and I ran into at South Park Station.
With that whole mess? Yeah. What about her?
She's a hunter. And she's on her way to Hell's Neck. Potentially with Dick Dunham, so we need to get in the car and we need to go. Hell's Neck's a decent drive, and... Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, do we have any idea what we are walking into?
Potentially. She's tracking down the Knights of the Round Table. And she was, at the very least, led to believe that we're going to find Sir Lancelot, which if that is the case, you get her. And regardless of if I am in the car with you, you fucking leave once you have your hands on her.
Everyone besides Vern. Roll me intelligence and politics, please. I need to know if your sires have talked to you about what the Malkavian prince's weird behavior was like with his children.
I can't use
You said
wit,
it.
can I?
Can you use what?
Wit?
No.
Okay. Question.
Usually I'm very nice about that, but not this time because it's really weird.
Yeah.
If we're talking weird and we're negotiating roles, could I use a cult?
No.
Okay.
Usually I'm flexible, not about this though. 3, that's a good roll.
I know.
3.
Usually I go
One.
whoever's.
I crit!
Oh, perfect.
It's a bloody crit, though.
Oh, it's a messy critical. Well, unfortunately, Marius, you had your drink here, and if you want to be so bold as to ask Brienne for more, but I'm going to ask you to increase your hunger, please. You drink down to 1, but now you're going to be back up to 2. Thinking about everything that Dijon told you about Malkavian Prince sort of bubbles up inside of you. As I've mentioned multiple times now, Jean was an angry man in life and has remained so in his unlife, and he hated that Malkavian prince maybe more than he's ever hated any kindred that has ever existed in the city, as far as you're aware. But yes, and I'm sorry, Celeste, Ezra was not schooling you about the Malkavian prince because he was gone. So you really did, it's not important for you to know what he was up to. But Beryl and Dijon had to deal with the prince on a personal level for many, 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 many years. So, as I've stated before, Quentin King believed himself to be the reincarnated, myth-made flesh, King Arthur, legend himself. And he embraced 12 childer that everyone was aware of. If there were more, you don't know about them. And he named them all after the legendary Knights of the Round Table, after he would embrace them. His final child was Mordred, who was commonly considered his favorite, but was the one who was at court the least. Lancelot was referred to as his best knight, and was his most loyal companion. That is everything that you know about that.
I mean, I know enough about it. There's a Lancelot and Mordred, but what were we getting at?
Lancelot was one of the greatest of his warriors. I never gave him any reason to treat me as a combatant, but I think that's about to change. And let me be very honest. None of you stand a chance against him. I might be able to hold him for a few minutes and then get away. He's not very fast. That was always his downfall. Heavy swing on the right hand. His legs don't move fast enough.
Listen, my biggest concern right now is getting good old Dick back to the Ivory Tower. That is my one and only concern at this point. So, can we make that happen?
We need to find Sarah to get to Richard. And hope he hasn't woken up from that right hook I gave him yet.
Then let's get moving, shall we?
Sounds good to me. I'll drive.
I do think that as we settle in, once we are out of the cellar and on our way, well, you've all had some fun updates. I have a few of my own. I don't know if fun is the word for it, but here we are. Prince Iverson would like to do her best to mend the bonds between the Ivory Tower and the Anarchs of Boston, mostly because it sounds like they're speaking of war. Now, we can be diplomatic about it, or we can just scare the piss out of them. Either works for me.
Yeah, we should probably try and be diplomatic, especially with Randall being... What did you say, Marius? Erratic?
I think that was a perfect word, yes.
Oh,
But we do have a bargaining chip at this point.
so the Baron's losing his marbles, is what you're telling me.
Well, for good reason. We might be tracking his sister, so...
Okay, all right. Storyteller vampires don't get headaches, right?
Since your blood does not pulse and your vessels do not constrict, no, you do not.
Okay. It must be a psychosomatic thing then, because the coterie sort of watches Brienne like press her ring fingers into her temples and sigh.
I know.
Olvido sees that you look stressed and lands on your shoulder. Imagine you're sitting in the passenger side, or you sit in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Lands on your shoulder
yeah.
and drops some pistachio shelling into your hand. And squawks at you. And of course, Celeste, you hear him say, "Have a snack."
He's trying to help.
The flying in the car is gonna distract me. Can we keep him rooted, please?
That was oddly adorable, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was kind of cute.
Okay.
Olvido turns his head to you, Celeste, who's in the back. Can we kick him out of the car?
He's thriving.
Walk
Can we
back.
not?
No, not this time.
And he just sort of settles in on your shoulder, Brienne.
I'm gonna reach up and kind of give him a little scritch under the chin.
Gets very stiff, but he does let you do it.
Careful, he bites.
He bites you.
He gave me a snack.
Everyone bites me.
I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Neither am I.
I just remember what I was going to say.
And suddenly, Vern wishes Arthur was in the car.
Yeah. I think he'll actually change the station to Arthur's radio station.
If you'd like to use the radio, which is an XM radio, and it's not built in. It looks like Cyrus put it in. Wits and technology, real quick for me, Celeste, to see if you blow up the radio.
Oh no!
Okay. I'll do that.
I wasn't gonna do it unless Vern turned it on. Unless someone turned it on, anyway. Wits and technology,
Okay.
please roll at least 2. Otherwise, you will blow up the radio.
Oh no, not the radio.
Okay, 2. You turn it on, and it's horribly distorted as it comes out, and it's way too loud, and almost everyone wants to cover their ears. But then it normalizes. And Celeste, you know exactly that was your fault. Whether you'd like to say that to Vern or not is up to you.
She says nothing. She just looks out the window. I don't apologize for who I am.
That's fair. That's valid. You're so valid, bestie.
So Vern is just turning on Arthur's radio station because he misses him.
Brienne does reach over and give him a little pat on the shoulder.
Arthur's radio station, as you know, he left. He had some sort of emergency. He didn't explain what was going on, but you don't hear Arthur's voice come over the airways. It is still playing the same loop of music that he set up when he left earlier this evening. So whatever is going on with Arthur has not been resolved. Now, you make your way down to Howe's Neck. I will give one opportunity for any more conversation to be had before we're going to take a quick break, because what's going to happen in Howe's Neck might be a little bit intense. So I'll give everyone a break before we do that.
Yeah, so there's the conversation about, peace talks with the Anarchs, and that's going to be fun, but hey, we might have a bargaining chip. That's exciting. Less exciting. I'm going to pull out this fancy pants invitation and sort of hold it up between, so the folks in the back seat can see it. Look what I got.
Okay, continue.
Hand it to Marius so Marius can take a peek. I would like that back, though. It's actually quite nice.
And
I would never steal from you, princess.
Or
Marius
shit.
and Celeste, you can both see that it is an invitation. So dressed to Briony, but it invites her to bring anyone she thinks will be interesting guests or accommodating guests to the Hecata family house in Woburn, Massachusetts, and signed by Andreas Giovanni, who claims to be head of Clan Hecata.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, isn't that?
Yep.
Who gave you this?
Look at Mern. Guess.
Saris has contacts with the Hecata.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why I was able to actually get out of the morgue. Which is, I appreciate, but it's popping up, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Celeste, does Ezra have any contacts with the Hecata? I'm just curious.
Does he?
Now you may roll me with some politics.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Your sire is perhaps the most well-connected kindred in Boston outside of Saris.
Yeah, dice are just kind of okay tonight. 4.
No, four is
Almost.
more than enough. You know
Oh,
that
nice.
Ezra has his hands in many differing layers of government, human government agencies, including the police. He has his hands in certain circles of the Anarchs. He has hands in certain circles of the Camarilla, most of them there. He has his hands in the universities, but you have never ever heard him mention that he has any hand in the Clan of Death. Never, not once.
That would actually confuse her as she thinks about it. And she'll say, I don't know. I would imagine he does, but he's never told me about it. And at realizing that could be the case, she gets a little perturbed.
Storyteller for my own mental Swiss cheeseness. I think you mentioned when Briony woke up in the morgue and realized that there was a Hecata, that most people thought the Hecata were gone, yeah?
Correct. Both you and Vern, because I had you make a roll, both of you didn't get quite high enough. Both of you and Vern were fed the Camarilla propaganda that the Hecata left along with Quentin and his knights.
So, family dinner makes me think that the notion that the Clan of Death has vacated the city is a false one. Just, considering gestures.
Yeah, just kind of like slowly returns the invitation.
Iverson maintains her power with lies. She always has.
I am admittedly curious as all fuck. It's probably a bad idea, but as previously stated, curious as fuck. Do we know if Arthur's coming back? Is he all right?
He ran off to deal with some kind of personal issue. It sounded heated over the phone, but I was a dog at the time, so.
He seemed very upset about it.
Okay. All right. You know what? One thing at a time. Let's deal with one thing at a time, shall we?
One thing at a time is not really Huddy's style. And that is where we're going to take our break before we get to House Neck. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cradle of Liberty, episode 2, Standing Amidst Corruption. And I used amidst because I was feeling whimsically archaic. The Coterie are heading down to Quincy, which is quite a distance away from the south of Boston. It's about 30 minutes on the I-30, or I-93, excuse me. I-30, not I-30. And you eventually arrive. Now, House Neck's a very interesting place because when the tide is low enough, you can actually walk to a place called Raccoon Island, which is something a lot of people who live in the area know. They also call it the Neck. I'm calling it House Neck, just so you know where we're going. However, it is wintertime, so you're not quite sure if the tides will be moving because the water may be frozen. But as you arrive, of course it is nighttime. The night is hanging heavy over House Neck. The sky's deep, suffocating black, broken only by the occasional shimmer of moonlight as the clouds pass by. The air is thick with the scent of salt and rotting seaweed, carried by a wind that whistles low through skeletal remains of old docks and weathered lobster traps. And as I mentioned, at low tide, the water pulls back like a reluctant beast, revealing the slick, glistening path of rock towards Raccoon Island. But it's wintertime, so the water is not moving as you all pull into the beach here. So, in order to get to where our lovely detective was going, you would need to go across the water. And as you pull in, you see her car is parked here. At least you assume it's her car. It's a car that is abandoned. It's a 4-door, nondescript black sedan. Does anyone like to investigate her car? All right, everyone may roll me a wits investigation. Our girl with dots and larceny, if you want to break into the car, you may roll me composure and larceny.
If it'll help.
That's up to you.
Can Vern help with that? I also have a dot in larceny.
You may roll me wits and larceny.
Composure larceny or wits and larceny?
Oh, excuse me, composure or larceny. Wits and investigation for everyone else.
Thank you.
You're no problem.
I mean, I am a problem, but that's...
No, Ben, you're never a problem.
Yeah.
You are never a problem. And nothing any of your characters does is ever wrong. They've never made a mistake ever.
Not even once.
1, 3, okay. 3. 1. Okay. Well, Celeste and Marius are not very helpful in this venture. Marius is doing that thing where they're putting their hands like this, trying to look through the windows, but unfortunately they're tinted, so nothing's happening. Celeste, you try and open it, but this car is a little like newer than you're used to, and you're not quite sure how to get the lock open. But Vern, you spend a lot of time around cars, so you very easily are able to get the lock open, pop the lock on the passenger side door, and Brittany, you dive in and start looking around. You don't see anything really of note in the car, unfortunately. You see a lot of papers, seems to be cases that are dated from about a month ago, because she hasn't really been working. However, 3 successes for wits investigation, is that correct, Laura? You smell blood in here. Now, you don't have blood. Do you have the Bloodhound merit?
Ooh, hold on. Ooh, no, not this character.
Okay. You can't tell if it's kindred or human, but you do definitely smell blood in here. And fresh is maybe not the right word. Recent would probably be the best word.
I think Vern will just reach over to the door and hit the unlock on all the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the blood? Is it splattered anywhere? Has it been...
You don't have the Bloodhound merit, so you can't quite tell where it is coming from. You just smell it very faintly.
Okay. Then I will just let the coterie know that there was blood in this car somewhere.
And it's very clearly belongs to Sarah Miller. If you look in the glove box, you can see it's registered to her. You can see that there's case files in here for me. So it's very clearly her car. Anyone pop open the trunk?
Yeah, that's where Vern was headed.
Pop open the trunk, hoping to find Richard's body. You do not, but you definitely smell the blood much stronger here, Brittany. And everyone else here can also smell the blood.
Can I taste it?
Yes. Roll me a taste for blood.
Thank you.
No Rouse check,
Can
just
I
intelligence
taste
and
that?
blood sorcery. Intelligence
I'm
and
a
blood
lick-
sorcery.
I'm a lick it.
Can I lick that?
I'm gonna lick it.
Can I pet that dog?
Don't pet that dog.
We have fun here.
We do.
It's a great time.
I pulled some more dice out, so maybe it's just the spider that's angry.
The spider doesn't like me.
I mean, it's a little better. I only have 1 willpower left. That is 3 successes.
3 successes, yes. You sort of take a little taste and you let it sort of wash around in your mouth before swallowing, and you definitely taste that this is the blood of a Malkavian, and it is the blood of Richard Dunham.
Oh, perfect. That is, in fact, Dunham.
All right. Well, we better get out there. And
Perfect.
Vern will get down on his back and slide under the car and grab the back axle in both of his hands, and I'll activate Wrecker and I'll snap it.
All right.
Hot.
Oh, the camera made you zoom out, Les, in a very dramatic fashion. Rouse check, please, Avery.
I will get hungry. I'll go up to 3.
All right, and I'm not going to make you make a roll for that. And voice in your mind, of course, is Quentin. He says, "Come now, Caval, it is time to go on the hunt. I'm sure there's something delicious on that island over there. Go fetch."
Yes, my king.
So you've ruined Sarah Milton's car. She's not here. You don't know where she could possibly be, except that she is parked directly in front of where the tide moves to get to Raccoon Island. That seems to be the only place she could be. Now, you could stand here and you could wait for her, or you could go after her.
Can I send Olvie to scout ahead?
Sure.
Yeah,
Send him.
I'll ask him to just go check out if there's anything we need to know before we get there.
Sure. Flies over. You watch the crow fly over to Raccoon Island. As all of you are standing there, it sort of looms in the darkness. It has twisted trees and very long branches that seem to stretch out towards the sky. It's very quiet, but it's not silent. The wind moves through those trees, rattling unseen things in the underbrush. And eventually you hear Olvido give a shout out. And as he flies back to you, Celeste, he says, "Dying. She's dying."
Oh, we gotta go. Dying. And I'll set off.
Across the ice.
Slowly, kinda.
Vern will full sprint, but I do have Cat's Grace.
Cat's Grace won't stop you from falling through ice. It'll just stop you from falling down.
Correct.
So, if everyone would like to make me composure and athletics rolls as we make our way across the ice.
I'm gonna rouse. I do not get hungrier.
That's
Yeah,
a
same.
good idea.
I do get hungrier.
Are you at 2?
2.
Okay. Getting uncomfortable, Brittany. Getting hungry. Getting hungry.
Hungies.
4. Now, just so you're all aware, Kindred, as much as they suffer from fire and the sun, oftentimes they their sires forget to mention about what happens when they get too cold. Just so you know. 4. And how many was for you? 3. Well, I need to know the order that we're doing this in. Who's going first? For no reason.
I think Celeste started first, and then I imagine Vern sprinted past her.
Is that accurate, Vern? So you're in the front, Celeste behind you, Briony and Marius, who goes next, who makes up the caboose.
I think Brienne watches the other two sprint off and just okay then, and starts going.
So that leaves Marius at the end. Well, Vern and Celeste, you make your way across rather deftly, rather easily. Olvido, of course, doesn't sit on your shoulder. He flies above you, and he is warning you, telling you to watch out for this, that, and the ice looks thin here, looks thicker this way, and you listen to him as he flies, as you run as fast as you can. Brienne, there's a few moments as you're moving across where your foot hits a particularly thin patch and your shoes do get wet, but you are quick enough to move your leg up and around and to get away from that area. But Marius, you are not quite so lucky as your compatriots. And you do feel a point where the ice is starting to break beneath you, and you are not fast enough to move, and you are going to plunge deep into the water. Now, what happens when a kindred gets too cold? Well, they are going to go into torpor. They are going to get injured from this cold because their blood doesn't move. They don't generate their own warmth. And without that, being at room temperature or activating the blush of life, well, eventually they won't be able to move anymore. So Marius, you're plunged into icy cold water. If you had breath, it would take your breath away. And as their head dips below the water's surface, I need to know, Vern, Celeste, or Brienne, are either of you doing anything to help them?
Yeah, I imagine I hear this. Look behind me, see this.
I would allow the use of Arms of Ahriman without injury if you roll high enough.
Okay, I was gonna ask if I need to soaring leap over to them, but if Arms of Ahriman
You
goes
could,
far
but
enough,
soaring leap would definitely risk breaking that ice.
Right, so I'll do the arms.
So firstly, because you're a Sombra, that's a rouse check. If it's a 1 or a 10, I need to know.
Okay, I'll put a little bit dice roller.
Get your lucky little dice roller out. The lucky little coffin.
Okay. 10. It's a 3. So that's the first one out of the way. It's Wits and Oblivion?
It is Wits and Oblivion. So your rouse check was a 3, is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect. For anyone, since I'll maybe leave this part in here, if you don't have numbered dice for that, if you have just the vampire dice, if you get a bestial or critical on your rouse check, then that is a 1 or a 10.
Got it. I see. That's what I was missing. So that's 2 there. Oh, that's so funny. My first really good roll of the night is a messy crit on such a task. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 messy crit.
Perfect. That's a success, though. You are going to save Marius. So, Brienne and Vern, you turn around, you hear Marius plunge down. I imagine a yelp came out of you, Marius, or some sort of, involuntary reaction to falling through the ice. It's terrifying, and it's freezing down here. Both of you watch Celeste flip around really quickly and gather the shadows that are all around you as we're outside in nature at night and pull them towards herself and then shoot them off like tendrils right towards the hole where Marius fell out of. They go down into the water, and Marius, you don't see them, but you do feel something wrap around you and pull you up and out. Now, unfortunately, Celeste, with that messy critical, you are letting your beast take the wheel, and your beast isn't really concerned about being very careful. So when you pull Marius up, you whip them up, and you pull them towards yourself. Marius, you come out of the water and go sliding towards Celeste against the ice, and you're going to take a little bit of damage from this, a little bit of like a rug burn, but on ice. So take 1 point of superficial damage, please. And your chin is going to get a little bloody.
I've dealt with worse. Thank you.
Help them up. No problem.
At least it's not torpor.
For 2 nights and twice in one night, Celeste has been shown to be extremely useful, both in breaking into apartments and saving people from falling through the ice, which is excellent. But of course, Marius, you're going to be wet and drenched, soaking wet. And it's already cold out here. So I would suggest that you activate Blush of Life in order just to keep yourself moving and not falling into torpor.
I mean, I guess.
this is my way of saying that if you don't, I will actually have you take damage because it is so cold.
Gotcha.
Not something you usually have to deal with in a vampire game, but I thought it would be fun.
Okay. Okay.
You're good. Okay. So you activate Blush of Life, and you feel a little bit better, a little bit warmer. That boo-boo on your chin, though, hurts a little bit more. So the four of you make it across. Vern, you're first. And immediately, as soon as you get across the water, you hear the sound of maybe gurgling, and you definitely smell, and this time, fresh human blood.
Is that a rouse check?
You're not quite close enough for me to make it a rouse check.
Okay. Yeah, Vern's gonna keep running towards it, kind of almost dropping down to all fours to move faster.
Mm-hmm. Gangrel bloodlines, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Full gangrel.
Yeah, full gangrel. All right. So, everyone who gets to the shore, if you'd like to try and find this person, wits and awareness, please. See if you find them before they die.
Could I make a play for with survival?
No.
Since it's tracking?
Wits and awareness, please. Because it's also for something else.
Can Olvi help me in any way?
I'll give you an extra die for your crow, yeah.
Thanks.
I would give an extra die to anyone who has heightened senses, but I don't think anyone does.
Don't think I do. No. I'm on 3s tonight, apparently, because that's another 3.
3s are good.
I do have Sense the Unseen.
Won't really help you here.
Okay.
Only reveals
thank
things that are
goodness.
supernaturally hidden.
Yeah, I was. Guess who?
Look,
Knock him out.
Look, that's always the thing whenever, with an Auspex character, I'm always like, do I want Sense the Unseen? Do I want heightened senses? I want both, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
I hate that I can't have both.
Exactly.
I make Awe and Daunt, by the way, which I think I told you, Laura. In Presence, Awe and Daunt, you're allowed to have both. I do not discriminate because I think it's stupid.
It's dumb, and you're right.
You're right that it's dumb. 4, 3, Vern.
2 with the bestial hanging?
Okay, all right, so that's not enough. So you're again gonna fall under your clan compulsion. I hate to keep doing it to you, but you keep being in situations where it's absolutely perfect, and you're gonna turn basically feral in the sense where you're not gonna be able to communicate, you're not gonna be able to speak in long sentences, and you are gonna remain on those all fours, smelling around. You're gonna get a little bit disoriented by all of the smells that you're smelling, because you're smelling something else besides blood, something bestial, something like an animal. And you're going to get a little bit distracted by that, and you're going to sort of veer off from where the rest of your coterie are going, and you all 3 are going to lose sight of Vern for the moment.
Darn shit.
However, you 3 come across Sarah. She is laying on the ground. She has a shovel next to her. Next to her, she was digging up a grave, it looks like. But she has been slashed from jaw to clavicle. And it's cut some of her vocal cord. Not all of it, but some of it. And she is dying rapidly. I will tell you this. You can get information out of her if you employ your dominate on a dying woman. Or you can attempt to talk to her this way and let her die with her dignity.
My question, storyteller. Would there be time to give her blood?
No. And I only say that because if you were to feed her blood, that blood that you would try and put in her throat would come out the holes that are currently in her throat. She has been slashed by something vicious. And unless anyone has invigorating vitae, which I do not believe they do, it will not be enough to save her. Only one Kindred in Boston that you're aware of has that, and she's at the Secret Garden chilling out right now. But I'm not going to force anyone to do it if it's against your morals.
We need the information. Fuck it. Let's go.
Morals in a vampire game? Wow.
The only one who might still have an inkling of a moral compass is Brienne, but she's just been dogpiled on by the prince and half the clan, so she's riding the raggedy goddamn edge right now.
So
To be fair, Celeste was like taking a step forward, like she was going to do the same thing.
Celeste also, yeah, I think all of you have at least a dot in dominate. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Brienne would like to do the honors though.
I would be happy to.
Okay. Well, you don't need to make me a rouse check, and you don't need to roll any dice. She's a human being. She can't resist, and she's also dying. So you look down at her. She has mousy brown hair. She's wearing a trench coat and a scarf that has fallen away because it's been slashed through. She's bleeding out heavily. If you get close to her, though, I will need a rouse check.
Rousing success.
And what would you like to say to her as she trembles and gurgles and dies slowly and painfully?
I need you to tell me who else is on the island.
That is your question.
Well, no, I'm not sure.
If that is your question, she will answer. Comes out croaking and wrong. She shouldn't be able to talk, but you're forcing her to with your dominate. And she says, Where, Wolf? And she dies.
Okay, well, now I feel a little bit better about asking.
Vern, you smell something animalistic. You're smelling scent of you don't know what. You don't know what this animal is. It smells familiar, but it also smells wrong. It smells different. And you're on your clan compulsion, and your nose is to the ground. You haven't shapeshifted into an actual dog. But eventually you smell something that you know you shouldn't smell. Something that makes the beast in you recoil. It's a lupine.
Vern is going to make all haste to his coterie. They're the most vulnerable.
So you run back to your coterie. Coterie, Sarah's dead. She's bled out. She's been slashed in the throat. Does anyone look at what she was digging up?
Absolutely.
Yep.
You look down to a hole that she had dug. And all that's left in there is a stake.
Is it safe to put 2 and 2 dots together? If there's any blood or like ash or decay connected to the stake?
No blood. Blood, residual blood. Nothing fresh, nothing openly bleeding. And vampires don't bleed anyway. But no,
Yeah.
There's no indication that there's anything active is taking place. There's no decay. There's no rot. You're not quite sure exactly what to make of this, unless what you'd like to tell me your 2 and 2 is.
No, because it feels silly. I am going to go and get the steak, though.
You're going to get the steak. Now, you could do Eyes of the Past to find out what happened here.
Well, I don't know there's a werewolf. I just heard what. So I guess I will do that. All right. That is... Isn't it also intelligence, blood sorcery?
It is intelligence, blood sorcery, and a rouse check.
All right.
I will say, upon hearing that, Brienne backs up and has her pistol in one hand.
Success?
Yes. Okay, and now I'm going to do 0.
Come on. Give Vin
Let's
good
get money, no
dice.
whammies.
Come on,
Hear
come on,
it.
come
I
on,
can
come on.
hear those dice. Come on, baby. Come on.
Well,
No, what is going on?
I could use my last willpower to again crit fish, or I can keep my life intact.
I can't tell you what to do, Vin. I wouldn't dream
Do
of
it for the plot.
I'm
Do it
gonna
for the
roll a
plot.
different die though. Okay.
So that's you spending your last willpower?
Yes, I am. Big money, no whammies. No, that is 3 successes.
3 successes. You backtrack. You pour a single drop of blood, and Celeste, you've seen this. You've seen Marius do this earlier tonight. Brienne, you have no idea what Marius is doing. You have no idea. But you pour out, you cut yourself with your athame, and pour out a single drop of blood. And you backwards in time, and it's not that much you have to go back to see. You see Sarah there. You see her digging, and you see her, she finds the gravesite exactly as you have found it, with just a stake in it, nothing else in it. And that's when you see, out of the woods, a completely dark, massive figure, maybe 8, 9, 10 feet tall, come out of the woods and just slash at her throat. And he's not alone, or they're not alone. There are several other wolves with them. You hear them speak to each other in a language that you do not understand. It's guttural. It's like nothing you've ever heard before. They look out across the water to where you all were coming over on the ice. And they retreat back into the woods. And that's when Vern arrives, racing towards his coterie.
Get out. Run.
We do need to go. There's multiple wolves.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, look. And I just start, if I'll kind of look, make sure everyone else is going to follow, and I'll start leaving.
Y'all head back, start going back to the way you came before. But unfortunately, you are stopped by a man. He looks perfectly ordinary. He is dark skin, dark hair, dark eyes. But surrounding him are 4 wolves of varying sizes and colors. And he says, "Welcome to Raccoon Island."
I would like to grow my feral weapon.
Make me a rouse check.
Going up to 4.
Quentin says, "Now, Caval, I would never send you after wolves, not without the rest of the hunting pack. This seems foolish, boy. Throw one of them at them, take a taste, and race off. Throw the
Just
one with the
growl.
bird. You don't like that one."
We'll just growl back.
And this man is wearing this very plain plaid shirt and sort of dirty jeans, and he's just staring at all of you. He's quite short. "I said, welcome to Raccoon Island."
Good evening.
Hi.
"Can I ask what it is that you're doing here and hovering over our kill?"
I mean, by all means, keep your kill. We were investigating, and now we see the trail has gone recently cold. We mean none of you harm.
Investigating what exactly?
A hunter.
Ah, so you are not as stupid as we have heard.
I guess not.
I have only met one intelligent leech in my time. I thought it was an oopsie. No? Wow, tough crowd.
Look, I'm willing to brace any insult you have for us as long as we walk out of this alive, or as alive as we can be.
That hardly seems like fun for me and my pack. I mean, you're right here, and we rarely get visitors at night. One of them, and you will not fall under the delirium, turns himself human from his wolf form. He is also a person of color. He's dark skin, dark hair, dark eyes. And he seems to be staring at you, Brienne, really intensely and sniffing into the air. It's very, very disconcerting. He even ventures to take a step or two forward.
Vern will match his pace.
I'm gonna step towards Vern.
The man who you were speaking with turns to his compatriot and speaks to him in that same guttural language, Marius, that you heard when you used Eyes of the Past. You couldn't possibly follow along. It's like no language you've ever heard in your entire life. And he calls him Harmon. And Harmon holds up his hand. Why do you smell familiar? He says to you, Brienne.
Do I recognize this person at all?
No.
I'm sure I haven't the faintest idea. I don't know who you are.
Speaks to the other man again. Calls him Jeremiah. You smell like someone I met. Over there, and he points through the woods. And it's winter, so all the leaves are gone from the trees here. And he points towards Long Island, where the black site was. You can see it very faintly from where you're standing. You smell like Caleb Bazori. That was the name he gave me.
Unfortunate family resemblance.
But it's faint. Why do you smell like him? And Jeremiah just sort of is annoyed. He says, they do that. They don't procreate like us. They're leeches. Harmon, we've talked about this. Caleb rescued me from the black site. The hunters captured me, put a collar around my neck, stopped me from changing. Caleb freed me. I owe him a life debt. I told him to come here, to meet me. He has never come. Why has he never come?
Left.
I am not talking to this one. Why does this one speak?
Is Vern like snarling and stepping forward? Brienne just takes him by the arm and like gives a gentle pull. Back, please. He's gone.
Where?
He was called away. It happens the older we get.
Jeremiah just snorts. We just die.
Lucky you.
Yeah. I owe him a debt and I can't not repay a debt. And he gets frustrated. Who would know? No one. Probably not. Intelligence and occult, everybody. Probably not. Or wits and occult, if that's higher for you. Probably not. No one would know. This is so outside of vampire knowledge.
I've got a dot in fucking occult.
One. No.
Fucking goose egg, my guy.
No.
You know what? No, fuck it. I'll willpower it. Why not? I'm not gonna get anything, but I'll willpower it.
4 on a crit.
Wow.
Oh.
Luna, you're killing it
Let's
this evening.
go.
Luna
Yeah,
killing it
I
this
still have
evening.
fuck all. I got 1 out of that.
4.
Damn. Yeah, Marius, once you became a Tremere, the world of the supernatural sort of opened up to you. The world of darkness sort of opened up to you, and you spent a lot of time, especially... What? She said the thing. Close it. We did it. You spent a lot of time, especially in the university, when you stayed with Dijon, at MIT that you have to you have a lot of books at your disposal to read about. Celeste, in all the times where you were locked up with your sire and he wouldn't let you go anywhere, well, you really didn't have anything else to do but read because you couldn't use the phone or the internet or watch television. So both of you have read books that have been written by, let's call it Kindred chroniclers, specifically books by people like Aristotle Laurent, who have written things about lupines and what they have gleaned from the culture of lupines. And one of those things is that sometimes werewolves are born as wolves. Regular, everyday wolves in the zoo or in the wild, and for whatever reason, whatever triggers within them, they become a werewolf. So they are wolves born and then are suddenly, poof, forced to also inhabit a human body, which must be very disconcerting. And you're getting the impression, by the way, that Harmon is speaking, that he is not used to speaking like a human. Or at the very least, it's sort of when you learn something phonetically. Like he's just repeating things that he has learned, certain words that he's picked up on that he's got down, and those are the words that he sticks to.
I'm gonna cry.
She's like, werewolf with me, babe, sometime.
Baby. Baby.
Yeah, they're called lupus born.
Oh.
And he says, my name, they call me Harmon, but that's not, I am dances in blood.
Oh, this is stupid. Rainey will take a step forward and just sort of hold a hand out. Like, actually, no, both hands up. Very come in peace.
As long as Harmon is speaking with you, it doesn't seem like the rest of the pack is making any move to do anything against you. They seem to be very connected.
You said dances in blood?
That is my name. Harmon is for the people of the map.
Would you rather I call you that?
It's okay. You are not Garu. You are Leech, and you name is. I need to repay debt. I am a heart warden, Galliard. It is important. Honor is important. I must honor the debt, and I cannot if Galeb is not here, and you say Galeb goes, and I do not know where.
I don't think Galeb will be returning. I'm not sure how that works entirely, but he's not coming back.
When Galeb freed me from the Black Site, he told me to kill. That was the arrangement. That was the debt paid. He said, kill for me, make a path, and you are free. I said yes. But in my carnage, I killed 2 of his people. I did not know them, but I said that I was sorry. That I would owe him a debt of blood.
I might be the closest thing to Galeb.
Then I must transfer my debt to you. I owe you blood. I am dances in blood.
I'll look to the coterie, shrug. Could be useful. I have no blood for you to spill right now, but I am no hunter. And I need help finding someone.
Find? I am find? I am dances in blood. Am I saying it wrong?
Can you track?
Jeremiah puts a hand on Harmon's shoulder. He owes you a life debt. A life for a life. If you call him and you need something to die, Harmon will kill it until it is dead. And then he nods again. Yes, dances in blood.
All right. Then how do I call you if I do need you?
Jeremiah rolls his eyes, and he pulls out a card out of his back pocket, out of his wallet, and he hands it to you. And it is a ice cream distributor business, like for ice cream trucks. I just don't.
Oh. That was a little more mundane than I was expecting, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, well, we don't have 1,000 years to make, like, a nice wad of cash. I don't have a stock portfolio or anything.
That's perfectly fine. Thank you.
You should know you have some red on you.
I think Vern will again tug at Brieny's sleeve. Who he kill? Need to know.
Is this one mocking Harmon? Because if he is, I will remove his head in this very moment.
No. He's
No. He's under a complex condition. Unfortunately, it is. I'll just shut up and leave it at that.
Jeremiah looks at you, Vern, and he speaks to you in the Garu tongue, but of course you do not understand it. And then he sees that you don't understand it, and he just rolls his eyes.
I'll look to Dances. You said you didn't know who you killed. Do you remember what they look like?
So much rage from being in cage and wearing collar like dog. Dances in Blood is not a dog. Old man, very old man, and a woman with 2 different colored eyes. I saw her eyes before I kill her. One dark, one light. That is all I remember.
I'll look to Vern.
Alicia.
As my companion stated, we have no desire to part you from your kill.
But you will not leave. You will call for debt. A debt must be repaid.
Oh, right now, right this very second.
No, but you will not leave Caleb go and not come back. You will not go and not come back.
Oh, no. Brainy sort of points off to Boston proper. It's like, no, I'm here.
Jeremiah sort of encourages Harmon to head back into the pack, and you get the impression that Jeremiah is the leader, at the very least, of this little group. The other werewolves don't make any motion to show you their human form. He says, I have to ask before we let you go, apparently, since Harmon is ruining all the fun for us this evening. Why are you here? Just tracking the hunter, or for something else? Because we all watched you look in the grave.
She took something that we need back.
Okay. Well, the body in the grave has been gone for a few weeks. Yeah.
Did it crawl out on its own, or did somebody help it out?
No, group of you came and got it out. We would have killed them, but one of them had... we're not supposed to really talk about this shit with you. But one of them had there's a sacred animal. We have a lot of sacred animals, but one of them had a lot of representations of our sacred animal. And so we were a little taken aback, and we weren't quite sure what we were supposed to do with that, so we just sort of let them do what they were doing. And one of them was really crazy, and she kept singing Michael Jackson songs, and another one kept talking about Lamerick. We found Lamerick. Whatever that means. It was almost fascinating to watch.
Sabat.
Oh, for the love of fuck.
They didn't say that word.
Yeah, well, I say it a lot. Did you... The hunter. Did she come to the island with anything else?
A shovel. But we've seen her sniffing around for the last few weeks in this area. And we know a hunter when we see one. And if you can't tell, we're a little bit, what does the kids say? Triggered when we see hunters. Especially after what they did to Harmon.
You know what? I feel like we don't have anything in common, but we might have that.
Yeah, so, if you want to call in that debt for Harmon and it's, you want to kill a hunter, well, we might all join you.
I don't know if there's anyone else in town, but if they come sniffing, I'll let you know.
Well, you're not welcome back. But you have my number, and I'll be sure to send Harmon your way if you need someone dead.
No, don't worry. This isn't, we don't intend to make our way back out here. But we would appreciate being able to leave.
The crazy one who was saying Lamerick was here, by the way. She said other names too. Palamedes, Boris, and Kay. Boars? And he looks at them, Boars, and the wolves on Boars and Kay. They said that the Lamerick was number 4. I hope that helps you and encourages you not to come back here.
I will take any information that we can get. Much obliged.
Careful on the ice. And he winks at you, Marius.
Let's go, please.
Yes. Thank you for your kindness.
Everybody gets one.
Brienne will pause and wave to Harmon as she leaves.
Harmon shifts down to a very small wolf, and so does Jeremiah, and they howl and they race off. You soon back to Sarah's body.
What was that we had about a bargaining chip?
Well, plans change. Yeah.
And we still don't have dear old Dick.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Fuck.
Again, Burn pulling at Brianne's sleeve. Take GPS from car. Keep away, Celeste.
Right. Yes, Celeste, dear. No offense, but if you accidentally blow up the GPS on this car, I might just walk into the lake at this point. So if you could keep a couple of paces back, I'd appreciate it.
Will do.
Thank you.
So, we've left Raccoon Island. The scene is over. Vern, you can return to your normal speaking voice. However, who's ripping out the GPS? I assume Vern?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And who are you giving it to? Because someone is going to have to go and check it out. Plug it into the car Saris gave you. Whatever.
I've got a dot in technology. I could probably suss it out.
Perfect. Those are all things that you can take care of. Maybe not right here on the beach, right so close to the werewolves.
Can we go? Please, can we go?
Vern will, if you can, get those case files out of her car, just in case.
Honestly, anything that looks potentially relevant. Just gonna take the shit because she's dead. She can't fucking take it with you.
all pile back into the 2025 Maverick. Head back to the city of Boston, I assume. The day is rapidly, or the night rather, is rapidly turning into day. So if there's any conversation that you would like to have, and I will remind you, Laura, the werewolf did say you have some red on you.
Yeah, no, I do.
Don't think he was talking about. Don't think he was talking about blood.
Tap, 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 tap. What do I find?
You tap around yourself. You say, oh, the werewolf said he had some red on me, and you don't see any red
I don't have
on
any red.
Brienne, and Brienne starts feeling around, and in your pocket is a bloodstone.
Pull it out. I'll stare at it. I'll look at Vern, and I will shake the bloodstone at him. Your kid sucks.
She can hear you.
You suck. I'll throw it out the window.
She's not. She's just had to look out for herself. Like you.
Okay, fine. I can appreciate that. Still, rude.
I think in this moment, Vern looks particularly morose. Let's just find out what we can from the GPS and find that fucking scumbag Dunham.
It's getting early. We're gonna have to go to ground.
Marius, Celeste, where am I dropping you off?
I might just take a walk.
Oh, okay. I get it. I'll just tap his nose.
Don't do that.
I was staying at Arthur's apartment, though I think he has the keys, so...
Oh.
Yeah, you haven't really had a chance to really settle you in there and get your own set of keys or anything like that. So at the moment, he's gone. You don't know where he is.
The two of you close like that, or
It's a temporary arrangement.
doesn't preclude what I said? But okay.
We just met.
Also doesn't preclude what I just said.
Celeste,
Look,
do you need a place to stay? Because I can give you a place.
I would greatly appreciate it.
Then I think they just pop their keys in Celeste's direction and give an address for their haven.
Hang out at Marius's place.
Promise I won't snoop.
Promise I won't snoop.
Lies. Do it, Snoop.
All right. That leaves Vern and Brienne alone in the car. Is there anything you'd like to discuss before we get to the Queen's Cellar and something happens?
Vern will just kind of look over to Bree. We kind of left things at a weird spot.
Well, a lot's happened since then.
Do you want to talk about it, or I mean, we don't have to.
Just gonna keep getting weirder.
So, I slept at Quentin's fucking bedpost for 40 years. Can't get any weirder than that.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I don't know what those two are hiding. But I know they're not telling me everything.
Our two new best buddies.
I like Marius a lot. But Marius, for every word that they say, they hold 10 back. And I like that about Marius, don't get me wrong. someone's most endearing quality can also be the thing that makes you want to fucking shoot yourself.
Yeah, well, it's all fine and dandy until they hold something back that gets the rest of us killed.
And I know
Again.
Ezra Contreras. And anything that comes from him is spoiled fruit. Him and Nazaria, they were the last king and queen of love and beauty in Quentin's court. And think of it like speed dating to the death.
God.
Something about the two of them being together delighted Quentin, which means it's bad news. So bad news that Azaria and Ezra fled the city. So there was some rumor about a duel. I don't know. I wasn't there. I was actually culling Thin Bloods with Galeb.
Okay.
I just want you to know what you're going into, who you're working with.
Vern, I don't really have a choice.
You
I
always
can't do this.
don't ever
I
let
can't-
them take that choice away from you.
I can't do this on my own. I'm not strong like you. I am very charming. And that's about it.
And there are places where you can use that. You don't need the ivory tower. You've already got connects across the line with Marius and whatever's going on in the secret garden. Listen to me. They're barons on the edge. It's gonna take one strong wind to blow them over, and they're gonna need somebody charismatic to fill the place. You will have more power than you will ever have access to in 100 years in the Camarilla. You will be able to move the way you want. Now, that being said, I won't be able to help you anymore. I know who holds my leash.
As you say that, Vern, I'm going to shift over very quickly to the other two members of the coterie. Marius, where are you walking?
Where am I walking? I'm going to the secret garden.
All right. So as you're walking alone in the desolate streets, you're keeping good pace because the sun is coming up shortly. You feel this extraordinarily uncomfortable presence press into your mind from a voice that you have never heard before. But instinctively you know that it is the Kindred who was in the Iron Maiden. It is the Kindred that Vern brought 5 years ago to the Red Salon, the stake in his heart. And he says, Marius Weiss, I regret that I never got to meet you during my reign. Say anything to him.
No.
Then he continues. I did have the most unfortunate time with your sire. Unfortunately, he will not survive when I return. But that doesn't mean that you have to be blemished by his actions, Marius. Serve me, and I guarantee your survival. Side with him, and you will burn.
He was always very passionate with me. I took it as a sign of care, affection, despite the metaphorical and literal blows. I can't say no to him.
You will be surprised what you can say yes and no to in this unlife. I will be watching you with great anticipation, Marius. I hope that we will meet soon.
So deathly quiet.
Celeste, you're in Marius's Haven, which is on campus, Boston University, and nearby where your siblings would be, which is interesting. This is actually a great haven. Maybe you could do a tradesies. I don't know how you would figure that out. Maybe you'd find something Marius wants, but do a great tradesies, because you could be really close to your siblings this way. And it's, could you describe the room very briefly for us, Finn, of what your room will look like?
It's a mess. It's what like the dark academia girlies think they want. Just organized chaos. It is books, it is papers, it is like receipts from when they were alive, which doesn't make any sense. Like they're not even a sentimental person. It's just something that's never got thrown away. Luckily, there isn't like a musty or a used bookstore smell. There are like a couple of candles that may have like burned down to like the very bottom. But yeah, it's just not great. An archivist nightmare.
Can I imagine a lot of those papers are all over the bed and stuff?
Yeah.
So this is not quite the Trinity College and not Cathedral and not quite staying at Arthur's, which is really neat. It's got a lot of like, stuff, but it's really neat. But this is something else entirely. This is, like a librarian exploded in here.
I think Celeste would she would first ask Oviedo to probably stay outside for the evening, so in case she came across anybody on her way to the dorm.
Yeah, I saw a nice tree back there.
And upon entering, I think she would just kind of take a few steps from the doorway after closing it and just take it all in.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to make a note that there are, if any, the freshest section of books are all on art history, maybe like medieval wood carvings and stuff in that like area, which is surprising.
Certainly not to impress Lasher, who loves art. As you settle in and stare around at this dark room, of course you like the dark, right? Dark is
yes.
Hello darkness,
Dark
my old
good.
friend, is the La Sombre
Yes.
motto. You also feel a very uncomfortable presence press into your mind. You don't know who this is. You don't recognize this voice. As we've determined fortunately from your roles, is you're not super familiar with who Quentin King is because your sire thought it was irrelevant. And he says, "You are new and fresh in my city, Celeste Ortega."
I think Celeste would be gathering the papers off the bed into a neat pile just to set them to the side. She would stop. And she would say, "Who's invading my privacy?"
There is no privacy in the domain of the once and future king.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to be more specific.
There will be time for specifics, Celeste, in the future.
Okay.
But for now, I want to assure you that I hold no animosity towards you or your sire. I'm rather fond of your sire, and I think I could grow very fond of you. I think you could be the one.
To what?
I like to call her Guinevere, and it cuts.
Well, don't know how to feel about that right away.
I don't imagine that you would. Brienne and Vern, as you arrive at the Queen Cellar, Brock immediately comes out to you, Brienne, and he is very worried that you're not there yet, as early as it's getting in the day. And he's like, we've run out of so many things. I mean, you weren't there. I couldn't check in with you. I mean, what am I supposed to do with all of these order sheets? You're gonna need to hire more help, Miss Perkins. Really, honestly, I can't worry about you and the store at the same time.
I will take care of it. Rock.
Will you please come in and at least sign these order sheets so I can get them going while you're sleeping? Please.
Is he just frazzled for the night, or is there something else going on here?
You can roll me a wits and insight.
Yeah.
Vern, as you step out of the car, you see that there's something on the side of the wall. Now, the Queen's Cellar, there's lots of things that get flashed on the wall, banned photos and like protest pictures and missing cat posters, stuff like that. But you see there's something very specific pinned to the wall. It is a pamphlet for a performance for the Bolshoi performing Swan Lake at the Boston Theater, and the date on it is 1989. 3. No, he just seems really frazzled. Seems like he's worried about
no,
you. Sorry.
That was 4.
4. Yeah, no, he just seems very, very frazzled. He seems like he's, you were gone for a significant amount of time at the morgue, and, things have been popping off, and he just is not used to this amount of chaos since the Queen's Cellar has opened. He's not quite sure if he can handle it. And if you were thinking of maybe making him a ghoul, this might be tipping your scales one way or the other. Maybe he needs the blood to be a little bit more calm, or maybe he's not cut out for this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's go in. Okay.
So he ushers you inside. Vern, do you do anything with that poster? Of course, you'd recognize that poster. I will give you one more intelligence and awareness for Rianne this evening. One more. Great stats for Vern, except they're not.
Having a great time. Great time.
They're great stats for Vern. Come on.
6 messy critical.
Perfect. 6 messy critical. Well, you're going to increase your hunger. That puts you at 4 or 5. Which one?
5.
All right. Make me a hunger frenzy check.
Shit.
That is your unspent willpower plus 2 dice for your humanity.
Crit plus 4.
Okay.
8.
You do not have to succumb immediately to feeding, but you will need to feed post haste. You rip the poster off the wall, or the pamphlet rather, and it's very old. It says from 1989, which, I was born in 88. That's what I should say. It's very old, but it is. And you see that of course you recognize it. You remember going with Quentin to this particular performance, how he loved when the Bolshoi would come through town. It was one of his favorites. You see the prime dancer. Her picture is not here. It is a picture of a swan, but the prime dancer is listed as Tatiana Ivanova Marisov. And written on it says something in a language that you don't know, but you succeeded in your intelligence and awareness. Please add a dot of linguistics to your sheet. Add Russian or Cyrillic. And what's written in there in the Cyrillic language is remember me. So with that out of the way, we are going to end episode 2 here in the midst of corruption for this evening. Thank you everyone so much.